From William, oh holy and infallible one, that is in fact my middle name, oh holy, and it's Andrew, oh holy and infallible one, Klavan. I need your best argument against my friends who say everything we experience is just a chemical reaction and life is an illusion. That view seems logical but limited. It's not logical at all. First of all, an illusion to whom? Somebody has to have the illusion, right, for the illusion to be there. An illusion can't just float in space. Somebody has to have the illusion. But, let's, just to be serious here, we know that there are things that are not material. They're called ideas. We know that they're ideas. Ideas are not material. Think about it for a minute. 2 + 2 = 4. That's an idea, right? It doesn't mean anything. There's no two. It only becomes real when you say 2 pennies and 2 other pennies make 4 pennies. But the idea, 2 + 2 = 4, is just an idea, just floats in space. It is not the chemical reaction in your brain that thinks the idea. It's not the vocal cords that speak the idea, because you can pass the idea on, and even if everybody disappears, you know that if people came back, 2 + 2 would still equal 4. There is nothing material about the idea. And yet, you can't experience the idea without material. Someone has to speak it, somebody has to think it. So there has to be a chemical reaction to speak the idea. Now, the way that the materialists handle this is they say that ideas, feelings, life experiences are epiphenomena, which means they don't exist until the material body exists. And that's when the question of creation comes in. Stephen Hawking said, we don't need God because all we need are a few simple rules of science for matter to come into being on its own. And of course, the immediate question is, well, wait, rules of science are ideas. Who thought the ideas? If you're a materialist, you believe something has to be there to think the ideas. Well, that's right. There has to be a mind. Mind has to precede matter. The ideas, I mean, this is basic Plato, really. The ideas have to precede, the forms of things have to precede the things themselves. So what you really are seeing when you see the material world is not the essence of stuff. You're not seeing the idea. You're not seeing Andrew. Andrew is inside here. Andrew is here. If you take off my hand, God forbid, I'm still Andrew. You know, I mean, and in my belief, if I die, I am still Andrew. I will still be there in some form or another. So the thing, what you're seeing is you're seeing a language. Okay, this is now we're just dealing with a metaphor, but it's still true. When I say the word tree is not a tree, but it conveys the word tree. When you see a person, you are not seeing the person, you are seeing the expression of a person in material. The material is like a word, it is expressing the Andrew of me through this body, through this brain, through these chemical reactions. But the people who say this stuff, who say that it's all a chemical reaction, don't believe it. They don't believe it because they make choices. They look back on their lives with regret or with saying that was a good choice. When you ask them the story of their lives, they don't say, well, I was this big, then I was this big, then I was this big. No, they tell you, well, first I felt this, and then I went there, and I really learned this, and as I became mature, I started to understand the world this way. They tell you their experiences of the world. The human experience of the world is the reality of human life, not the chemical reactions through which that's expressed like language. The only thing I will tell you is, I mean, all arguments, logical arguments point to a creator. All logical arguments point to the spirit coming before matter, not the other way around. But don't expect people to surrender to logical arguments. If people have faith, if you have faith, it is obvious there's a God. If you don't have faith, you cannot see it. You simply cannot see it. So they're really blind. It's really a question of blindness. It's not a question of logical arguments. But that is the logical argument. They already believe in something that is not material. They believe in ideas. They believe that 2 + 2 = 4 and that it would equal 4 whether people existed or not. I mean, people might have to exist to perceive that 2 + 2 = 4, but that would be true no matter what. And so they already believe in immaterial things. And then the question is, where do they think they come from?